This is the Leda Art Supply sketchbook, and I've been using it for a couple of months now because I wanted to break it in a little bit before I wrote my review. And I want to get all of the negative stuff out of the way since I ultimately really do like this sketchbook and want to end on a positive note. First up, there's the ginormous embossed logo on the front of the sketchbook. I mean, really? I didn't take off for it, but it's rather conspicuous and begs to be covered over with a sticker or something. Most sketchbooks I've used will have an unobtrusive embossed logo or name on the back cover or very small in the lower right of the front cover, but nothing quite so in your face. Moving along, within a month and a half of use, and I don't even use it that often, the back envelope, and as you can see, there's very little in there. It's very flat, but it already tore open and it's not a tiny hole either. And also within 2 months of using it, the elastic broke. I was closing it up one day, not even pulling very hard on it, and it just snapped. As you can see, it's not as though it's overly thick or particularly abused or anything like that. It just snapped. In comparison to my old sketchbook, which has been through a lot more trauma for a lot longer with an elastic that's still going strong, it's a bit disappointing. But moving past that and into the positive, first things first, the binding is excellent. It's tightly sewn, so no matter where you open it, it's going to lay flat. You can open it in the front. You can open it in the back. And you can even open it in the middle. It's going to lay flat. Then there's the paper quality. This paper is smooth as a newborn baby's bottom, almost like silk, slightly off-white, closer to eggshell than cream, and it's fantastic for dry media such as graphite, charcoal, pastels. It even works with ink. You can see there's no bleed through, but keep in mind I wasn't using sopping wet markers either. And just to test the limits of the paper, I decided to do a couple experiments with wet media. This is done with acrylic ink, some watercolor, and a bit of mixed media, and the paper held up rather well. Yes, there's a lot of bleed and buckling on the backside, but I expected as much. This isn't really watercolor or even mixed media paper by any stretch. However, what surprised me was this. I'd laid down a base coat of white gesso, then went to town with acrylic, watercolor, glue, book pages, and marker, and there is basically no bleed through to the other side. You can even use the other side to draw on. So I'd actually get this sketchbook again, even if it meant that giant logo haunted my dreams. I needed to keep it closed with a bulldog binder clip and had to duct tape the back envelope shut because the paper is simply that good. I enjoy drawing and playing in this sketchbook because of its paper, and I believe that's the linchpin of a good sketchbook.